biology department within the College of Arts and Sciences. And today I have a former student and biology alumni, Miss Desiree Vera, who is currently working on research with us as a lab coordinator, but was working with me as a mentee for her senior thesis. We are currently conducting the first supplementation research study on campus, and we are supplementing males with a fatty acid called alpha-lipoic acid, and we're hoping for metabolic changes, fat loss, and we have a host of other measures. We'll be collecting their blood samples as well, so we'll look at all the hormones that Desiree looked at previously, and that eventually will lead to bigger studies involving exercise and possibly this supplement for a major change within their metabolic profile. We are also conducting a freshman 15 study, crossover study, looking at weight gain in the first year, and we're hoping to show that within the first year on a college campus, a freshman is learning independence and how to make independent decisions about their physical activity, their diet, their behaviors. And in the end, if we can show that there is a problem, which has been shown on other college campuses, we want to see if that's a problem at the University of La Verne, we then would like to intervene with possibly technology and nutritional information, and combining those two to somehow help freshmen realize that the amount of food that they have on their plate is either too much or too little, or in some way we want to help them with their nutritional decisions in that first year. Is it a nutrition problem? Is it a physical activity problem? What is that? Why is there weight gain in that freshman year? And that's what we're currently looking at now.
Definitely working with humans. I mean, it's the first time the biology department and the kinesiology department really brought in human participant and really made a human-based research study, and that really fascinated me, and I really wanted to be a part of that. Also because I was interested in going into the medical field, so I wanted to have that human participant connection to really give me that experience.
From a biological, kinesiological perspective, it's the first study bringing human participants into the kinesiology lab, and as Desiree mentioned, we recruited older and younger participants, and those older participants were coming from the community. So it was one of the first studies involving the community and not just the University of La Verne student body. It's tough to get everybody on the same page within the same research study, but we are fortunate that here at the University of La Verne we have faculty who are willing to do what they can to help students, and there's a lot of crossover between faculty. Plus, I think we have a community of people that want to help other people, and it's very hard in this day and age to get funds, government funds, to support research. But if we can support each other, we can be really successful together. And Dr. Jerome Garcia, Dr. Lucy Martin, Dr. Megan Granquist, Dr. Emily Rosario from Casa Colina Rehabilitation Hospital, we're all trying to promote our research and further our research, and the only way we're going to become successful with our research, I think, is if we work together, and I think we all realize that. What we can find in our human samples, Dr. Jerome Garcia can look at in his animal samples, Dr. Todd Lawrence can look in his cellular samples, so there's a nice link from the cells on one level through the animal up into the human. And I think we will be more successful at at acquiring funds for the future if we can show the link in all of those areas. Getting Casa Colina Rehabilitation Hospital was hard at first. We had some connections with them through our athletic training major within kinesiology, but beyond that, Casa Colina has not had an established research program up until the time that I arrived at the University of Luverne. And their director of research, Dr. Emily Rosario, arrived at Casa Colina Rehabilitation Hospital. So we arrived roughly at the same time, and it was only natural for me to seek out other sources of research support, because I need someone to draw blood. And when I first came to campus, I didn't have someone to draw the blood samples from the participants. So with Casa Colina having a certified phlebotomy lab, it's easy to utilize their services for that and consult out to them. So we've been able to collaborate, we've been able to consult and utilize Casa Colina Rehabilitative Hospital services for our research, and they've become a community partner for us with the University of Luverne, and it's been instrumental in not only pushing the boundaries for our research on campus, but for them as well.
It's actually a lot of fun because you get to work with so many different people, and when you first go into the research for your senior project, you just think that you're going to go into one area and just concentrate on your own project. But what I found is that you just take a part of one larger study, and you're also involved with the larger study. So you get to be involved a lot. I was involved a lot with the study, to recruiting, to writing grants, to writing the protocols, and then also working with the different collaborators that we worked with. So we worked a lot with psychology and also Casa Colina. So you get to make a lot of connections, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of work, but it pays off in the end, and it's really interesting to look at the results. So we work with young and older populations, and for my senior thesis, I did younger trained and untrained populations. So we assume that our trained population is healthier, will be healthier than our untrained. But when we look at their biomarkers, it's still amazing to see that our young, healthy, untrained population is still that much unhealthier than the trained population. So you can already see what their unhealthy lifestyle is having on the body. So it's already having a negative effect. And if you think in the long run, that population, if they continue being unhealthy, will eventually increase their risk for disease. So I thought that was very fascinating.
It's very clear that someone who is physically active throughout their life and eats in a healthy way will reduce their risk for disease later on. My whole research philosophy is that lifestyle is the key to combating disease. Being physically active, maintaining a healthy mental state, and eating healthy. What ultimately we put into our body is going to come out in how we look, in how we act, and in how we age. My philosophy is also to try to educate young people that what they're doing at that point in time when they're 18 years old or 19 years old is really going to impact them later on. There's an easy way to combat that, and that's just having more physical activity and a healthier diet. For me, it's all about helping students see the possibilities within our field of biology, kinesiology, or even psychology. And it's not just the straightforward, I'm going to go into physical therapy if I'm a kinesiology student, I'm going to go into a doctoral, I'm going to become an MD if I'm in biology, or I'm going to go into nursing, to look at all the options. And I fell in love with research. I want students to see that research is a lot of fun. It can be exciting and interesting. And I also want the University of La Verne to be very well known within my area of research, and I have big plans for funds to come in and to impact the community. I'd like to be able to help the community understand what their health is like, where they're going with their health, and maybe we can impact them in some way to reduce their risk for disease.
I eventually want to take this to the community, to programs where we can take what we learn from the research and apply it to particularly ethnic populations where we're seeing more of obesity rates and diabetes rates, and also being unhealthy. And that, I think it's because we try to change them instead of changing our ways to suit them. Because if you go in and try to change them, it will only work if you constantly are there to push them to do certain things. But if you create something that will integrate their culture and their community, it'll have a more lasting effect. So that's my future plans, way down the road. But being involved in research at the University of La Verne has really opened up so many pathways for me.